Now, News Channel 8 News at 7:30.
I'm Morris Jones, and within the hour, President Obama sat down with Jordan's King Abdullah. Vice President Biden also attended that meeting, which was held in the Oval Office. It comes on the heels of a new video showing the brutal killing of a Jordanian pilot by Islamic State terrorists. State Department officials addressed the video earlier today.
We are aware of the video purporting to show that Jordanian First Lieutenant Moaz Khashoggi has been murdered by the terrorist group ISIL. The intelligence community is working to confirm its authenticity. The United States strongly condemns ISIL's actions, and we call for the immediate release of all those held captive by ISIL. We stand in solidarity with the Jordanian people.
That from the State Department today. Meantime, the Daily Mail reports that Jordan has announced that it will execute 6 ISIS prisoners in retaliation. The news of the Jordanian pilot's execution was first confirmed on local Jordanian television. It's believed now that the soldier was actually killed about a month ago. Karen Travers has more.
In the hometown of Jordanian pilot Muath al-Khashoggi, angry and emotional demonstrations after the news of his brutal murder. An undated video released by ISIS appears to show al-Khashoggi wearing an orange jumpsuit, standing in an outdoor cage and being burned alive. The 26-year-old pilot crashed his plane over Syria in December, the first pilot in the U.S.-led coalition to be taken hostage. Jordan's King Abdullah was in Washington today for meetings. In a taped message that aired in Jordan, he condemned the killing and said al-Khashoggi died defending his faith and his country. Just last week, ISIS called for a prisoner swap. The terror group released a video showing Japanese hostage Kenji Goto demanding that Jordan release an Iraqi woman convicted of terrorism there in exchange for the pilot. Jordan's government said it would cooperate, but with one big condition.
We want to see a proof of life.
But no proof was ever given, and a video was released over the weekend showing the beheading of the Japanese journalist. The Obama administration condemned the brutal murder of the Jordanian pilot.
It's just one more indication of the viciousness and barbarity of this organization.
The U.S. Embassy in Jordan advised Americans there to defer any non-essential travel tonight due to concerns of spontaneous demonstrations in major cities. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Tonight, we're also hearing from officials at the Council on American Islamic Relations. They're speaking out against the killing and say they are united against the ISIS regime.
There's like almost no words that we can use to express the shock and horror over this brutal crime, burning someone alive in a cage. This organization has nothing to offer the world except tyranny, fear, brutality, and death. All we say is we just offer condolences to the families of their victims. And we call on the entire community, world community, to eradicate this brutal organization.
The trial for the man accused of plotting an attack on the U.S. Capitol is on hold. Christopher Cornell's trial was scheduled for March 2nd, but today, a U.S. district judge in Cincinnati postponed it to a later date. Cornell has pleaded not guilty to the bomb plot and attempted murder of U.S. officials. News Channel 8 is hosting a national town hall, Fight for Freedom. That's next Monday at 7 p.m. on News Channel 8. Top experts will focus on the escalating terror threat and the impact on free speech and expression. You can be a part of the live studio audience asking questions. Sign up at wjla.com/townhall. Turning now to the weather, and it felt warmer outside, maybe because the high winds from yesterday were gone. And get ready for warmer temps tomorrow. Here's meteorologist Devin Lucy with the forecast. Devin.
I was trying to think the last times we still had temperatures way under the average, but still felt warm. Well, at least a couple times. Remember back to record cold November as we started off the season. Another push of some real cold December to January. This is a third one. It was really the winds whipping yesterday, but winds non-existent almost today, and sunshine in 38 felt real nice. Temperatures aren't much colder. Real-time temps tonight. A little bit of a southwest breeze is there tonight. Not much. Clear skies. That's kind of holding temperatures steady. Just a little bit of the breeze is from the direction south. We are tracking our next system to be coming our way. It's still a couple days away, but the satellite imagery for sure just shows a west to east flow. So a temperature comparison, warmer temperatures out west, Midwest, plains. We'll take those here tomorrow. Let's look ahead into the forecast. At least temperatures dropping slowly. Washington Metro. 28's on top end. We're going to be a little bit colder than that. Northwest and west suburbs and farther out of town. 50 degrees for the high, and that's finally above the average. But then our next system that I was just tracking is going to bring temperatures back down. Not a lot of precip to be seen here. We'll let you know exactly what to expect, the ups, the downs, the precipitation, and also a look to the weekend and our full forecast coming up.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Devin. The high winds we saw yesterday launched a massive tree right into a Silver Spring house. The homeowners and their dog managed to avoid the flying timber, but their home took a direct hit. Stephen Cheetah has the latest from the neighborhood.
The tree came down with such force, it shook the neighborhood and shattered this house. The impact captured in a 911 call.
It's actually falling on my house right now.
All right, let's get to the fire department. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, it just fell on my house.
Chris Fisher was stunned by the power of the falling tree.
Almost like kind of like a small earthquake.
Fisher, his wife, and their dog bolted outside to see the tree, which moments before had anchored their front yard. They realized it had taken out the left side of the house, the opposite side from where they had huddled. They knew instantly they wouldn't be going home anytime soon.
My wife and myself are probably going to be out of the house between 2 and maybe 3 months.
As they packed up to leave for an undetermined time, the Fishers are sad about the damage to their home, but thankful for the warnings, which may have spared them injury. Now, the joists, the support beams in this house were damaged in this incident, so that could delay the family's return to their home. Stephen Cheetah, News Channel 8.
We're learning more about more belt-tightening measures being taken at the University of Maryland. In addition to a 2% tuition increase that went into effect last week, UMD will furlough more than half of its employees. That's according to the student newspaper, The Diamondback. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan has unveiled his budget, but it includes potentially troubling cuts to education. Tonight, educators are fighting back. Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell is in Annapolis with more details.
The Maryland State Education Association, the teachers union, is launching today this website. Its name, Don'tShortChangeMaryland.com, a play on Governor Larry Hogan's ChangeMaryland.org. Its message, the governor is taking too much from schools.
Governor Hogan's budget is balanced on the backs of students in Maryland.
The website allows one to search county by county and see how the numbers play out. Montgomery County, for instance, is budgeted to receive more than $25 million less than expected. Prince George's County, nearly $38 million less.
We might be faced again with layoffs of teachers, but the rate that our school system is growing, it is a cut, what he's proposing, because it's less money per student.
Hogan's camp counters that the budget actually increases state aid to K through 12 public education to record amounts, with a $45 million hike in spending to a total of $6.1 billion. Hogan's budget director agrees is not as much as some would like, but argues tough choices must be made.
The challenge that this administration faces is that there's $17 billion in spending requests, and there's only $16.4 billion in cash coming in.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter. Governor Hogan campaigned on a promise to get spending in Maryland under control. He has to close a nearly $800 million budget gap, so there will be cuts. These cuts to education are among those included in this big, thick budget book. That said, the Secretary of the Budget said that he is happy that this discussion has started. It remains to be seen if there is any wiggle room at all. The legislature, by law, cannot add any money to the governor's budget. In Annapolis, Brad Bell, News Channel 8.
Montgomery County Public Schools Superintendent Joshua Starr is stepping down, but neither Starr nor the Board of Education is saying exactly why they're parting ways.
There are 8 individuals on the board. They're with 8 different thoughts, opinions.
The message is not one of quitting, right? The message, I hope, would be one that don't get into a fight that you know you're not going to win.
Recent reports say Starr lacks support on the board for appointment to a second 4-year term. Starr will leave his post in 2 weeks. The State Board of Education will need to approve the school board's pick for an interim superintendent. That man is Larry Bowers, currently the system's chief operating officer. He's held the job for the last 16 years and was set to retire this June. Bowers has served as the interim superintendent before. In his 37 years with the county school system, Bowers has also served as budget director and assistant superintendent. New tonight, the woman found dead near Reagan National Airport has been identified. D.C. police identified her today as Maria Cruz of Alexandria. Cruz was found in the water near 4 Mile Run Stream on Saturday. A medical examiner will now determine how she died. D.C. police are asking anyone with information to come forward. New tonight, the Maryland man tried twice in the murder of 16-year-old Felicia Barnes could face a third trial. The state's attorney for Baltimore City made a formal announcement on the second indictment of Michael Johnson at a news conference this morning. The most recent case against Johnson ended in a mistrial. His first conviction was thrown out because the prosecution withheld evidence. Barnes was from North Carolina and disappeared while visiting family in Baltimore in 2010. Her body was later found in the Susquehanna River. Culpeper County deputies are hoping quarters could lead them to criminals after an early morning home invasion. Around 3:30 yesterday morning, investigators say 2 armed men in masks forced their way into an elderly woman's home on Settletown Place just outside of Culpeper. They stole cash, firearms, a pocketbook, prescription drugs, and a large amount of quarters. Police are asking any businesses that suddenly get payment with a lot of coins to give them a call. We're learning new details in the fatal DUI case against a Baltimore bishop. The Episcopal Diocese of Maryland says a church leader was concerned that Heather Cook had been intoxicated at a dinner before her consecration last year. It was reported to a presiding bishop, but it's unclear exactly what, if any, action was taken. On December 27th, nearly 4 months after that dinner, Cook was charged with hitting and killing a bicyclist while driving drunk. D.C. police need your help to make an arrest in connection with the robbery. It happened in the 1100 block of Bladensburg Road Northeast. The victim was approached inside a convenience store last Thursday. Surveillance video shows the suspect walking behind the victim, yelling in her face and stealing cash. Call the police if you recognize him. Coming up, measles is spreading faster than experts ever anticipated, and now a hot debate for parents about whether to vaccinate their kids. Lawmakers weigh in, what they're saying next. Plus, Devin Lucy returns with your full forecast, and a brief warm-up is on the way, but could snow be next? All of this and more next.